I always knew something was off at first. It was just little things, the way Herbie tensed up when I hugged her, the way she turned her face away when I tried to kiss her. It wasn't outright rejection, but it was constant, just enough to make me feel like I was no longer welcome in her space. "I'm tired," she'd say. "I'm not in the mood today, not now, Julian," and like an idiot, I believed her, but the exact moment everything fell apart was one night when, without even thinking, it tried to wrap my arms around her while we watched a movie I wasn't expecting anything more. I just wanted to feel like there was still something left between us. But then she pulled away abruptly, annoyed, like I had offended her. "Don't touch me," she said, her voice cold. "I can't stand it." Her words cut through me like a razor blade. "I can't stand it." I had no idea what to say. I just looked at her, trying to figure out when the woman I had shared my life with had reached this point. She realized she had been too harsh, but she didn't bother to take it back. "Sorry, it's just, I don't like being hugged out of nowhere," she murmured. Lies. We had hugged like that hundreds of times. The truth wasn't that she hated being touched, she just hated being touched by me, and in that moment, I knew this wasn't about exhaustion or routine. It was something else, something uglier, something that was going to force me to see the truth in the worst way possible. The confirmation came on. It seemed like fate wanted to make sure I had no room left for doubt. One afternoon, Carolina was in the shower and her phone buzzed on the nightstand. At first I ignored it, but then it buzzed again and again, 3 times. Times too many for just some random notification. I reached for it on instinct. I wasn't the kind of man who went through someone else's phone. But when life shoves you against a wall, all you can do is take the hit. Head on the screen showed a name. I didn't recognize Sergio, and below it the messages: "I miss you. I can still feel your skin on me. Let me know if your husband suspects anything. When can I see you again?" There it was, the truth, raw and unapologetic. No doubts, no room for self-deception. My wife didn't want me to touch her because someone else already was. Something inside me broke. But it wasn't sadness, it was anger. Cold, quiet, resource sharp. Not the kind that makes you scream or throw things against the wall. The kind that makes everything crystal clear. Carolina didn't love me, and I wasn't about to keep pretending she did. I'm not a reckless man, never have been. I learned a long time ago that mistakes happen in the heat of the moment, when anger clouds your judgment, and I wasn't about to make any mistakes. So instead of making a scene, I took a deep breath, put out the cigarette I was smoking on the balcony, and called my lawyer. "Martinez, I need you to draft some PAP papers." There was a heavy sigh on the other end of the line. "Julian, tell me this isn't what I think it is." I let out a dry, humorous laugh. "Oh, it's exactly what you think it is. I want to file for divorce." Silence. Ernesto Martinez had handled my prenuptial agreement years ago. He knew me well enough to understand I wasn't the kind of man who made these decisions lightly. "Does Carolina know?" "Not yet." "Infidelity?" I didn't answer right away. "Yeah." I heard Ernesto let out a long breath. "All right, do you two have shared assets?" "No. Everything's in my name, the house, the car, the accounts. I just want this done fast." Martinez took a moment before responding. "It's not always as simple as it looks. Sometimes when they realize you're actually leaving, they try to make things messy." I let out a bitter chuckle. "Wouldn't surprise me, but it won't change a damn thing. Just get the papers ready." I ended the call and stayed out on the balcony watching the city lights. The decision was made now. I just had to wait for the right moment. I went back inside like nothing had happened. Sat down for dinner with her, listened to her empty chatter about work, nodded at the right times. Carolina thought she was still in control, thought I was hurt, but trapped, that she still had power over me. She had no idea what was coming, so when finally her discomfort reached its breaking point and she asked, voice unsure, "What's wrong with you?" I looked up from my plate, met her eyes, and let out a dry laugh. "Nothing, sweetheart. I'm just giving you the same love you give me." I watched the color drain from her face, and in that moment I knew the game had changed. When Carolina walked through the door that night, she found me in the living room, a suitcase by the door. She froze. "What's this?" I stood up from the couch, pulled an envelope from my jacket, and placed it on the table. "My divorce papers. All you need to do is sign." She didn't take them right away. Her eyes darted between the envelope and my face, searching for any sign that this was Some kind of joke that there was still a chance to turn things around, but there wasn't. Julian. She murmured, her voice trembling. Wait, no. I cut her off, my tone as cold as steel. There's nothing to wait, for I'm just finishing what you started, finally. She picked up the papers, her hands shaking as she flipped through them. I watched as she blinked rapidly, biting her lip. The panic was settling. I didn't want it to happen like this. I let out a short, humorous laugh. Oh, really? I said, a cynical smile tugging at my lips. Tough luck. Then I walked over to the door and pulled it open. Carolina looked at me, and for the first time in a long time I saw something in her eyes that no longer meant a damn thing. Tome regret. Julian, please don't worry. I cut her off, my voice carrying the same icy calm that had guided my every move up to this point. I'm sure Sergio can give you the love I couldn't, and without waiting for a reply, I stepped through the doorway without looking back. There were no desperate pleas, no tears, just the sound of the door closing behind me, and the weight of her own lies crashing down on her from the inside.